Everyone. Welcome. It is Sunday. Before we get started, let us see what come into the room. Mm, Let me know, people. It is Monday through Tuesday. It is. Uh, I feel like I'm coming through all that situation. I like what he has to say. Unfortunately, but we got to come with the real. Let him know what's up. It looks like it should be coming through, but sounds like my secondary mic is flowing, so we're gonna go ahead and jump on into it. I'll work on that later. See what's happening. Anyhow, I want to acknowledge Father's Day to all the fathers out there, no matter their capacity of father. So it's interesting. I think there was a meme about no, maybe it was on Bill Maher. Like if you see two fathers wearing, the greatest father in the world shirt, then they have to fight in a death match or something like that, right? Like we all can't be the greatest fathers in the world, right? Stop the cap. So, anyhow, I do want to acknowledge Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I did not respond to anyone that sent me Father's Day wishes. I will thank you now for those wishes. Thank you for all of you who wish me a happy Father's Day and whatever capacity that you did that in. I appreciate it. But I did not send out Father's Day wishes to any men who were fathers yesterday, which is a little bit different for me, but there was rhyme and reason for it. As Father's Day is on Sunday, and church service and other festivities, it just to me just like been drowned out. So I waited because I wanted to have this conversation today with all of you. So, first I'll tell you that I had a fantastic Father's Day. Matter of fact, I had one of the best Father's Day I've had in many a moon. I've been a father for a long time. This is one of my best. This is one of my probably the best Father's Day gift I ever received. I received yesterday from Layla. So shout out to Layla. Uh, she was doing the most yesterday for sure. Give her the horn for that one. Got to give grandma a horn too, because Layla is 10, so there's only so much you can do. So shout out to grandma. How you doing there, Rob? So, I love thoughtful gifts, right? It's pretty easy to spend money. It's easy to open up your wallet and dump some dollars down and give someone a gift. But I really appreciate gifts that are very thoughtful, even if it does require money. Gifts of time, gifts of things that are made. Uh, and, we all have our love languages on how we would like to be loved, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, all that good stuff, right? But for me, Uh, I think, that those gifts, that gift of time, of effort really kind of shows through, to show that you're thoughtful. So I'm gonna show you a few of my gifts, and we're gonna get into it. So one of the gifts that I got, which was so awesome, I got this right here, right? Anyone know what this is? Like, no, they're not super fancy toenail clippers. This is a gold-plated candle trimmer, candlewood trimmer. So it's so awesome. It's like really super thoughtful that I got this gift on Father's Day from Layla. And so many of the candles, kind of fit in recessed, and it's really hard to get a pair of scissors in there and to cut it at the angle that you want. It just allows you to get it down in there and make your snip. So I was just really impressed by this gift. Oh, by the way, little things go a long way with me. They don't have to be super big, extravagant things. Once you've been around for a while, you've kind of done a lot of things. So, those things don't really move me and hundreds of thousands of dollars on me. And then, like I said, my favorite, like, hey, you want to read some of this? Like, no, you can read any of this on the podcast. But I think I me this book. And so it says, Dad, you're awesome. And so what I love about this book is, and I'll show you a few pages in here. This book was made by Love by Layla Cameron. Love that. And it talks about, it's a narrative, right? So it says here, like, her favorite things to do together is, and then she writes her favorite things to do together with me and her. And so, one, she's been practicing her penmanship. So she's been working really hard on that. So one, that took time to make sure that her letters look as good as she can make them. And you only get one chance to write in the book. So you have to take your time, right? And we know kids kind of are in a rush and they want to get through it and they can be excited. But the patience that it took for her to do that was fantastic. Uh, and then also she used different colors and she was really reflective on these things. So I'll read one or two. Let's see. There's so many good ones in here. This is like the funniest thing you have ever done. So what's she say here? That one. This is, okay, perfect. Sound like you're in a tin can. I sound like I'm in a tin can. All right, Rob. Let me see if I can fix why I sound like I'm in a tin can. I shouldn't be sounding like I'm in a tin can. That is horrible. All right, you know what? Let me do this real quick. I don't want to sound like I'm in a tin can. Don't no one like that. You know I got time for that. All right. And ain't no one got time for that. We're going to mic right here. Finish this. What I'm going to change this to punch. I don't know what that is. There's so many different things on here. I got to figure out what they do. So enjoying the curse of new stuff, right? Got to figure it out. Let me see if I can. Ooh, man, and there's so much stuff now. There's like triple, uh, there's like triple the different things that you can put in there. So it's pretty awesome. Eyeball, mid bell, low bell. How's that? Does that sound a little bit better there? And then the big bottom, drive. Let's hit the big bottom here. See if that does a little something more. Does it still sound like I'm in a can there? And it's our first show since being out with being on location at the Juneteenth celebration down at Evergreen. Uh, go ahead and get rid of Mr. Nathan. How you doing there, cool guy? See you there? All right. Does that sound a little bit better? Do I sound as tinny? Hopefully I do not. If not, we'll try to work on that before our next show. Anyway, still thinking a muffin. Well, well, well. What do we have here? What, let's see, and what you do? What you do? One, two, one, two. Ooh, sorry about that delay. Well, one, two. All right. All right, let's see. It does sound kind of tinny to me also, and I don't know why I sound like that. I really don't. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to just kind of continue on here. So that she said she didn't like how I'm sounding. That's what I'm doing. So, okay, one more thing, I'm gonna just keep it. I'm gonna keep it pushing. The exciter. I got an exciter button. Gotta figure out how to get people excited. Get excited. All right, all right, all right. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Okay. I wonder what y'all did for Father's Day. So started off, Layla came over and she made dinner for me, which was fantastic. Cornish game hen with her homemade barbecue sauce, the wild buttery rice and green beans, which is fantastic. And so since it was Father's Day, and Layla's in school during the morning, uh, I wanted to take her for a walk. So I go walking at Evergreen in the morning time when she's at school. So we walked a mile at Evergreen yesterday. So I got to share, that experience with her and just kind of talk about, the grass and the water and, you know, catch up with what she's got going on and just kind of listen to her and just share things. As a little better, but not your normal clear self. Yeah, I'll work on it. The only thing I could do is maybe power this thing off and power it back on for next week. I'm a little scared to do that right now. So I'm like, I don't think I should do that at all. Anyway, so then we stopped at the park and we had our grapes and our bottled water. And I went live for a little bit and kind of wished folks happy Father's Day on Facebook, I don't know for like 90 seconds. We came back to the house. Mm, went ahead and heated up our dinner and we ate. Um, and then after that, we just hung out and talked. And then she wanted to, since her room was nice and organized with all her crafts, and she wanted to paint one of the tree stumps outside. So yeah, go ahead and get your paint. Go ahead and get your paint off. And she painted a nice little picture there. Oh no, no, I need to rewind. She wanted to open up the gifts. She couldn't wait. Open up these gifts. We open up all the gifts. And I'm looking at the gifts. No, I can't remember. She painted me this canvas that hangs in one of my plaques. Uh, and it's gave me a few other gifts, which was really awesome. Of course, my cars. I love my cars. And so then you know what? Maybe I have on one of the effects. That just kind of sounds like this would be happening. Kind of funny. Okay, so that's not it. I don't know what that is. Anyhow, uh, so she wanted to paint a picture. Yeah, but you know what? It's Father's Day. So, we watch a dad movie. So, all right, let's watch Fast and Furious. We watched Fast and Furious now. We had our popcorn, which is one of our favorite things to do with all the seasonings and all the good stuff. And we have to have our own popcorn now because she's Sam and what she does to popcorn is just too disgusting for dad to eat. So I can't get that with her. I can't do it. So we watched Fast and Furious 9. And it's so funny. If you've seen Fast and the Furious, right, it just gets more and more ridiculous. So we're watching it, and it's right at the beginning. So Dom and Letty are in the barn, and this car is driving up. Dom gets the shotgun out, and Layla, we're just watching. So the first thing, she plays video games, and she's like, what's going to do with that shotgun? That doesn't have good range. So I'm like, okay, definitely understand weapons pretty well. So I thought that was funny. Mm. And then, uh, the rest of the team comes up, and they're like, oh, this thing is going on. We got to leave. And Letty decides to leave in the morning, and then Dom, Ben Diesel, his character, decides to join us. So Layla's like, so what's going to happen with the kid? Because they had a kid there, right? And I'm like, well, that's a good question, Layla. I figured the babysitter went and picked him up. So we laughed about that. We're watching it. And this thing just gets more and more ridiculous. Again, if you've seen Fast Nine, at this point, this movie's like a couple years old. And, it's about cars and racing and doing all these fantastic things. One of the things they do is like a jungle scene where the bridge is out, and Dom and Letty jump off this cliff, and they hook the tire on a vine or on the rope bridge, the bridge rope, and they swing to the other side of the bridge. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And she's like, they don't have any scratches. They're not bleeding. They're not. I mean, 10-year-old is just like, this is, I can't. Like, I get it, sweetie. I'm trying to suspend, you know, uh, all logic also so I can enjoy the movie. And so at some point, we're about an hour and a half. And then this is like a 2 hour, 15-minute movie, right? It's a long one. So we get into about hour two, and she's like, oh, or about hour 30 minutes, hour 45. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna go get the Oculus, and I'm gonna sit here, and I'll watch it with you. So I kind of listen to it. So every time something crazy would come, I'm like, oh, Layla, look at this. And he's like, but they don't have any bruises. They don't. And she's just watching this stuff, and it's just so incredible. And then at the end, toward the end, they connect a rocket to a car, and they go into space. And it's like, okay, that's it. That's we're all sitting here. Damn it! It's too much. We can't take anymore. So we get through the movie, and like I said, I just had a really good Father's Day, and Layla's heading down to Alabama to go hang out with Grams and mom's side of the family, which she does every year. Like I was saying, so I wanted to read one of the passages here that she wrote. It said, the funniest thing you've ever done. Well, I can't just think of the funniest thing you've done because you are overall a funny person. So some of the funniest things you've done is cracking jokes to get the crowd rolling. So I thought that was a good one. Another one that she wrote, I really like. And this is a short. Like I'm flipping pages, and I asked her how long did it take for her to do, and she said it really took a long time. And so here's another one. She said, "You are really a great dad because you are an amazing, no, outstanding dad because you love me and you are really kind to everyone. You don't judge anyone and you like to help them." I actually do judge people like this, but okay. Okay. I thought that was really good. And talked about her favorite memories. Uh, he says, "You are definitely the best." He says, "You are definitely the best." If I can read that wrong from the camera. No. "You are definitely the best at multitasking. You could be cooking, doing work, and taking care of me at the same time!" Exclamation. So, like I said, this is one of the best gifts that I've ever received. I really just love this one. The best thing you taught me is, I think one of the most important things you taught me is to be kind and pick up after you. And then she says, I admire your courage and your love to help others before yourself. That is an amazing thing that everyone needs to do. And you inspire me to do bigger and better things, push myself to the limit, to do my best. You've inspired me my whole life. And you always know how to keep everyone calm in a bad situation. When things are getting troubling, You always know how to help. So one of the things that I really like about this book, and there's no such thing as a perfect parent. I am not there, uh, nowhere near the amount of time that I would like to be with anyone. And so you have to make that time that you have count, right? The lessons that you are trying to convey, uh, living your life as an example of how you want, your children to be. And that can be difficult to do, right? Because we're in the middle of living life, trying to survive, trying to do the things. Sometimes it may be a situation where it's like, do as I say and not as I do. Uh, when your children are watching and they're soaking up everything. And so they're soaking up the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And so I'm happy that she was able to, as we say, take the meat and spit out the bone, and able to recognize the values that I think are important, and that she's able to see that I adhere to those values. So again, very special Father's Day gift, and so that was very moving and touching. So I wanted to share that with you, and again, to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. But I wanted to get a little serious a little bit deep, which, if you know, I got the video on that Father's Day, the Father's Day to go into. And unfortunately, there are so many parents, fathers, that do not have the experience that I have. There may be some similarities, there may be some differences. And this could be even fathers that are in the household, and I'm a non-custodial parent, so really does not live with. And so it can be very difficult. When we look at Father's Day and we compare that to Mother's Day, it is very starkly different, right? Mother's Day, you can barely get a restaurant reservation. There's everyone is doing everything they can to turn up and turn out for mom. But on Father's Day, really kind of seems like an afterthought. You have graduation, so that's for kids. Right? You have Juneteenth, yeah, which is a federal holiday. You have Pride Month, whole month, and you have Father's Day. And so it kind of seems like Father's Day just keeps being pushed down. Not really a big deal. On top of that, you have many folks wishing mothers Happy Father's Day on Father's Day. And that's unfortunate. The restaurants aren't near as full. The sermons are never quite filled with the same fervor and respect and reverence and deference toward fathers as they are mothers. And it's weird. And society tells us to, you're a man. Step it up. Step it up. Step it up. You don't need that. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You're a dad. Man up. Be a father. Take care of your responsibility. That's what we're told. We're not told. Mothers aren't told, right? They are the heroes. They are the ones that sacrifice all. Whether or not they're good, bad, mediocre, destructive in regards to their children. You know, we have terms like bio dad versus father, right? And you father your child, but you're not a father. We don't really talk like that when it comes to mothers. There are a lot of selfless, sacrificing fathers that, yeah, should be acknowledged on that day. And many times, their situation that they're in may not be the fault of their own, although it is put on them in that regard, right? Well, if she wasn't a good woman or a bad mother, well, that was your problem. You should have chose that. It's like, what doesn't that work the other way? Hmm, okay, look at societal situations which uh, make it damn near impossible for a father to be in a child's life. And what they end up being effectively is just an ATM, right? Again, society tells them you need to take care of yourself first, and that's it. Doesn't matter. You should be willing to do whatever. Go live in the street, go live in the gutter, but you need to pay that support. That's it. But meanwhile, she's moved on with her life. Maybe she may have state assistance with paying for housing and medical and daycare and school and everything else. But so now if you are going to the college and you're going through GSHS and there's gas cards and all kinds of different support. Food stamps, food assistance. So it can be really tough. We don't really take a look at that. We look at the situation simply through the lens uh, of the struggle, not the men. Right? We can empathize and we can relate with women and families. But when we look at the statistics, men, uh, by and large, by the numbers, are more homeless, experience homelessness more than women do. Now, if they're a father, on top of it, when we look at rent not being affordable, I think we have these conversations every week. Can't afford rent, can't afford to buy a home, can't afford first class deposit, still make three times the rent. So if that's the case, for the average person, what happens to the non-custodial father that needs to still try to survive somehow, but then is paying up to 50% of their income? So happy Father's Day. I want to share a story with you, and then we'll come back on the other side. Very easy. This is Dr. Tia Johnson, doing the information in the chat there. And this is about uh, red pill fathers and daughters featuring PTSD. And I think that this is really powerful and impactful. And what it is that it's men supporting men. You know, we are chastised, we're emasculated, we're beat down, even by our own group, right? Men will beat down other men. Well, it don't matter what your situation is. You just need to man up and do this, and you need to do that. Right? You ain't got no excuse. You lay down, and then that is what it is. That's how we're talking. I don't think that helps the situation at all. So there's no support. It's just let's check in here with this episode. Look there again yesterday. Put this in the chat. Yes, sir. How you doing? Oh, wow, that's doing very well. I know we briefed this through Facebook. Just a screenshot of my situation that I was dealing with kids now and so so he's specifically talking about right now, gonna tell a story about what's going on with him. So, Dr. Tia Johnson is one of the very few, maybe three professors of black male studies here in the country, because everything is centered around everything else. But, Black Male Political Agenda by Dr. Tia Johnson, and 10,000 plus members of the Brotherhood of Honest Report. You can find that at www.tsamjohnson.com/BMPA if you want more information there. Let's get back into it. Uh, it's very close to very close to home. The minister actually saved my life. I was at home sitting traffic trying to figure out where I was going to keep up with Here again, when we look at statistics, like I've shared this before, in suicide, women attempt suicide, I think, in larger amounts. Men are more successful in suicide, and they have to say things like self-deletion because as soon as you say some of these words on YouTube, it demonetizes. Uh, for me, I just don't be able to say the words that I want to say. So that's what I would do it. It is what it is. I think it's right. So what he's going through, he feels powerless. He has nowhere to go. He literally is even in his thought of there's no way out. I may as well just kill myself. I'm still having the forethought of where do I do this where I make the least amount of trouble for those that are going to have to find my body and deal with the cleanup. I don't know how many men have felt like they had nothing else to live for, that they would be better off dead, that their family, their children would be better off if they weren't around anymore, that there's no way forward, there's no pathway out, there's no real support system, there's no resources that are out there. You're a single man. So you're not going to be a priority for housing. You're not a priority for homeless shelters. There are very few DV shelters for men. So at some point, man, I ain't got nothing left. That's it. I'm falling further and further behind. And you'll hear some of his stories. He's not as bad off financially as many men are. The average wage for a male, I believe, is $45,000 in the United States. $45,000. If you're black men, it's lower at 5 or 6,000. I try to pull that up in here so you can see that information. And we know now that here, even in TikTok, let's say you're making that $20 an hour, 40 hours a week, 12 hours or 12 months out of the year. You could take 50 weeks, and you had 2 weeks of vacation or 6 days, whatever the case may be. 50 weeks times 40 hours every week is 2,000. At $20 an hour, that's $40,000 a year. So how many men aren't even making $20 an hour? And up to half of that may be going to child support. If you got trouble in your youth or in your adulthood, and now you're mature, you're not that same person, but you have this record, there are going to be jobs that you're just not going to be able to do. You may not be able to get that job unless you so $20 an hour might be your ceiling, might be your cap. Now again, we can do the quick math on that. 40,000, you take 0.8. That's typically going to be your take-home pay, right? 20% is going to go to FICA and taxes and all that other stuff, right? So now you're looking at $32,000. Now, depending on how much you're going to pay in child support, they can take, let's say if they take 25% of that, four goes into 32,000, 8,000, 32 divided by or minus 8, you're at 24,000. You're lucky to be in a state that's $1,500 a month. 15 times 12 is 18,000. That number. 1,500 times 12 is 18,000. You had 24. You got $6 grand left. 6 divided by 12, you got $500 a month to live off of. Health, car, travel, food, your, your parents, and especially for non-custodial kids, your time is weekends. So that typically means activities. That's all. You only have $500 a month to live on. You haven't paid your cell phone. You haven't paid your electric bill. You haven't paid your trash. So when everyone else is talking about how hard it is out here, they don't really consider the non-custodial father in this situation. And unfortunately, that happens a lot, right? As things, one, we're all really concerned about our issues, right? And then issues that are close to us, on Juneteenth, there's a sickle cell organization that was here, and they spoke, which was really powerful. Really enjoyed hearing them. I didn't know that that existed. Like I said, a really good friend of mine has sickle cell. My neighbor has sickle cell. My son died. My younger brother died of sickle cell at 24. So yeah, getting involved in that might be important. Maybe you love animals, so you're connected to humane. So men, non-custodial fathers that have a child support that they need to pay, and they're living in this environment now, understanding that the average wage is 45,000, I believe, for a white male, which is the cap, and then it goes down for everyone else. But they're not making. No wonder that you're seeing homelessness explode, that you're seeing crime explode, that you're seeing mental health explode, or you're seeing suicide explode, or you're seeing violence explode. You're not making. Continue. Dun, 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 dun. Oh man! All right, guys. Sort of keep them back with it. I'm just saying. How was that? That girl is fine. Simp is another word they flag on YouTube. So, you know, in our days, we use the word sprung. Your nose is open, right? You do anything for a woman, she can walk all over you, and you can take it and deal with it. That's what he's talking about. I just wanted to define that coming out as he told me. And, I've talked with a lot of fathers who've had experiences similar to this. And There is no recourse. They just end up dealing with it. Oftentimes when they go to the court and they try to advocate for their side, their issues, even when they have proof, they don't allow that proof in. And again, many men help to beat down non-custodial in that way. And it's unfortunate. And if we're being intellectually honest and we're trying to exercise some empathy and put ourselves in the shoes of a father in this position, you can see how hard it is, especially when they are really trying to be a part of their children's lives, and they're really trying to do the best they can. And everywhere they look, everywhere they turn, they don't get support. They get, well, that's what you're supposed to do. You need to work more, do better. Well, you should have thought about that before you did. You know what I'm saying? There's no support. There's absolutely no resources for college. No counseling, no. Even when I asked for it, they just kind of look at me crazy, like, what do you do? Hey, you know, you try to reach out to local person. So, fast forward to 2018, my son is 12 years old. He's been acting out. I've been hanging around some kids who made him feel guilty uh, about so-called being a rich kid. So he began to act like this kid based on those influences that he was around the school. That this school was, we had every special, we had really affluent kids. It was like kids that were, first grade, third grade. My children being upper middle class, they had some of those things. And my son had a family between the nice ride up that I was, and I had coached my son ever since he was 5 years old and put out. So I coached my son and all of, one of the things that resonates with me, I would say that Lena is a middle middle class child, maybe close to the upper middle class. And again, he was tremendously blessed. And the mom and grandmother and uncle and grandfather all doing a fantastic job of working to raise the private kid on us and things that you hear with the uh, you see here so often asking gymnastics so we can uh, teach us to participate in those things. When I was growing up, my father was adopted at 5, and I was adopted as an only child, and he went up to adopt the 17 people in the course of his life. I think maybe the most impactful was 7. And unfortunately, although he made 6 figures, he lived in poverty, right? Like I said, I told the story about, 1 year, the only thing that I could get was a bowl of chopped box of my favorite cereal, sugar cereal. So, and how much I hated that when I was a kid. I hated the fact that, we were friends with other families that were wealthy. And, Father John was a black Catholic priest, and in the priesthood, they paid for your home. So they lived down on Lake Washington and they adopted a bunch of kids too. They all had cars. We're getting boxes of cereal, right? You don't feel some kind of way as a child. And, my dad being a Baptist minister, his value set was different. He was trying to not teach us by being impoverished. He was just driven to help children, right? That was his motivation. And so for him, money wasn't what life was about, right? It was making sure that we were at home, that we were loved, that we had shelter, we had food, we had education, we had a chance. That was what was important to him. And when I say that I'm blessed and I'm highly favored, it's for so many different reasons. And in regards to Father's Day, one of the reasons that I'm blessed and highly favored is, again, the book, right? That Layla wrote, that the values that I want her to take as she is growing up, she can actually articulate those as a teenager. And so that's powerful for me. And it's reassuring that, again, I'm not there all the time. I'm partly there, right? You see me out doing different events. Layla is very rarely with me. And so the time that I have to make it as impactful as possible. And yeah, sure, we're playing video games, and we're going to Defy, and we're watching movies, and we're doing all these things. But in that, teachable moments must happen all through that. The experience, teaching math, encouraging learning, all these things must happen. You have to be cognizant of that. And at the same time, try to make her experience one where she's having fun. And it's not like, oh man, I'm with dad and dad is about to teach me something. I'm just going to be sitting here learning. But, can we just have some fun? I gotta find a unique way to do that, pull that together. And there may not be a real solid way to measure what that looks like. You can see how she may behave. But, kids are going to be kids. Preteens are going to be preteens. Teenagers are going to be teenagers. So it's a great gift for her to be able to share that back with me without uh, solicitation. So it's very powerful. Experience. So I had a group of maybe like 10 to 15 boys. And I was sitting in my mom's land. There was a lot of investors. So I was taking the field. We do our practices. They were all up in myself and I was dropping off in the word. And then we could go through. So it was a middle class combo that I had. Last year was 2018. And my son was figure out the rail study time. Going back to how I was raised, I think it's real. And people know I was put into the flag. I'm thinking, way lighter than I am. I go to the bill, even more. And I'm telling this story to myself because I hope to go to this episode. Go to the bill and even more. Yeah, that's another thing too. He's about to tell a story about the way that we have been, especially Gen Xers, uh, raised to discipline our children, right? We were raised safe. I got whooped. So I believe in that, you know. Now I will say I haven't had to do that with Layla because my voice is enough. And if I raise my voice or Layla detects my anger or disappointment, she'll just start crying. So I've never had to do that before. I've been blessed in that way. You have to turn into a teenager. But growing up, I was prepared to discipline Layla in that way. And I knew that would be a point of conflict with her mother, you know. And unfortunately, in a lot of situations, the father is made out to be the heavy, right? You'll see a father who is trying to be disciplined. So that can be, you got to be really careful on how and when you discipline your children, especially if you doing the thing. Now, when I was growing up, my dad, he was one of his things was, you know, I'm going to discipline you because I don't want you to go out there and have a competition, right? And this is a whole other conversation, but I want to put it out here because the community talked about this for a while. I believe that we are in such a state of entitlement right now. And somehow there's this false sense of this security that we have arrived as black people. When my father's generation, the baby boomers, me, the Gen Xers, the way that we were raised, and his parents were raised, was, hey, you get pulled over, put your hands on the wheel, yes sir, yes ma'am, yes officer, You answer the questions, you keep your driver's license and your insurance or your credentials in a space where you can't be, misconstrued, even though that happens still, or reaching for something. But now we're seeing, you know, kids and adults running away, fighting. And it's like, when did we have this switch in how we trained our children, how we raised our children to interact with law enforcement? It was a serious conversation where every parent sat their kids down and said, this is how you are going to behave if you get pulled over, if this happens, because you can't give them an excuse to hurt you or to kill you. And we see it so often in the news now, where our kids and adults are running away or talking crazy to the cops. And it's like, man, I ain't never thought about talking to the popo like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to survive this. I'll deal with it in court. But there's a sense of entitlement there. And should it not be that way? Yeah, sure. But things if life is fair, or they say what? The only thing fair is where you judge pigs at. It is what it is. You want your baby to come home. That's the most important thing. You want your baby to come home. So why now is this switch of entitlement? Yeah, we can say that we're fatigued or we're tired or we don't want to take anymore. So yeah, we're gonna take off running or we're gonna talk back to the cops. It's like you're gambling with your life. It's like when keeping it real goes wrong. Anyway, I digress. We get back to it. I had some of the workers before this and everything. So, another thing I left out too, while I was coaching, while I was doing while I was doing assistant at the center, like I was also like I worked 20 hours, 24 hours every day. That's why. But two basic points. Just when I started to get nothing more, I just wanted to use this opportunity to really take it and run with it. With the course, she said, oh, I was accused by him that he could not just proceed to help. What I ended up having to do was go and get police reports for it to agree. I brought him in court. I brought him in court and they didn't even let me tell him. So, here we are now. This is successful. First time I have a business. I still have a day job. I lead people with about 60 people. I'm a manufacturing. So that's really important, right? Happy Father's Day 2022 to all the fathers, especially the moms and the fathers that have been driven out of the household either by the state, the system, or even the family or the mother themselves. I'm hoping that, again, you can be empathetic, really think about the situation and their shoes. I'll put this up here. This is blackdemographics.com. This is from 2018. So what you see here, 37% of African American males were full-time all year in 2018 at a median earnings of $30,928 compared to $41,119 for all men. Okay? That's all men, even white men. So it may look like we talk about the patriarchy and, you know, uh, our wages aren't equal for men and women. At the end of the day, 37,000 or 30,528, the median. So when you add child support on top of that, 80% of black children are born to a single parent or a single mother household. 80. So when we look at symptoms versus what the actual disease is or the viruses, and we're not treating that, but we're treating the symptoms, how are we supposed to fix mental health, crime? We know all the stats about the percentages of children and their outlook, their positive outlook, if they're in a two-parent household versus a single parent. So with everything in social engineering right now, we're being encouraged to not be together in a nuclear family. And we go for it, unfortunately. So let's get back to our video. Again, this is blackdemographics.com. These numbers are from 2018, if you want to check these numbers out. So I window there, get back in there. Also, 90% of 60 people are actively drug dealers, actually, even sisters that I have on my team. I sent you a screenshot where she says, hey, this business is too crazy for us. Let's look at her down the street. Hey, I think you should, I think you should live with you now because you should see the way you move. And in my mind, I'm like, you spent all of these years, you've been going against the grain, trying to turn these kids against you now. Like that previous could have said, now, you can't handle them because being their friend doesn't work. If you want me to swoop in and save them. I got to pause there again, right? That doesn't work too often. At least in the experiences anecdotally that I've seen with the hundreds of thousands of parents that I've been involved in. Trying to be your child's friend never tends to work out, right? You know how you are as a friend. You know what kind of friends you have when they don't have to listen to you, right? How difficult it is to switch from being a friend to a parent. Kids are young. They're not able to make uh, decisions that are going to be the most beneficial for themselves. They're going to do the things that are fun and make them feel good. So we can't expect children to do the right thing, do the extra thing. They have to be encouraged to do that, right? Kids need to be told what to do. They need more extrinsic motivation. Adults need more intrinsic motivation. But that's what raising children is all about. So somehow we expect that they're going to just see the example and they're going to see those values and adhere to those values. That's not good enough. I'm blessed that she sees these things. I'm blessed that she thinks about those things, that she likes to help others. She likes to help me help others. But we know that there are stats out there saying, oh, girls aren't as good as boys and that. We know that historically, teachers have driven girls away from that STEM. There's other programs to encourage girls to go into the STEM field. And so being an educator, I understood that. I didn't want Layla to be afraid of math. I didn't want the school to arbitrarily put her in. It's not really arbitrary, right? They see it that way. So they'll steer her into this direction or that direction, but not really in math themselves. If you're not going to be afraid of numbers, I made a game of it. So funny. We interviewed because I was in the library with the teachers, shout out to the library. And, they've got this, you know, little booklet for their reading circle, it's in the reading circle, and you can impart it. And so they have this kind of journal sheet where you can check off the reading 20 minutes a day. Because I'm sure that they like, all right, then you can read a little bit. Like, oh, but it's summertime, I want to have fun. It's like, yeah, but look how easy it is. You can check it off. And he's looking. And so now she's reading, and she's making a math equation out of how much time and how many days it's going to take her to finish her project, right? I'm not asking her to do that. So we've made such a game out of it that you can see the numbers and things, right? Which is great. And so she leans into it. She doesn't lean away from it. So she's looking at all these numbers. She counts all the, she looks at the grid. Like, okay, well, I can get this done in, I think she said like 20 days. She reads 20 minutes a day, twice a day. And so he's, solving the equation. And now she's working it out in her mind how she can achieve the reading where it's not too much for her. She can have fun, doesn't feel like work, but then she can still get the task done and maybe enter into win the prize. You know, that comes from us playing our math games while we're driving. So we're in the back seat and she's asking me for math problems. We're sitting in church and drawing equations on the bulletin on the church program so that she can solve. And just looking at things and making it fun. That's how those things are going to transition, right? To the point now she has that intrinsic motivation to look at the numbers and things. She should be extrinsically motivated. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. I'm the parent, right? And it gets to a point where this is fun. Now she's doing it on her own. I'm not saying that she needs to do that or I even want her to do that. But I love that she is because she thinks the mind is being stimulated. Right? The brain is a sponge. The brain is going to learn, and just soak it up. So I love the fact that that's what she's doing. Matter of fact, during, during the Fast and the Furious, she pulled out the Oculus. I think she went to download something, so it takes some time. So she jumps on the computer, brings up Google Docs, and makes a handwriting tracing sample because she wants to work on her penmanship. That's what she's doing for fun. It's like, go ahead, girl. I ain't gonna stop you. That's what I want you to do. You know, and she likes her little lay on Netflix, and she likes her YouTube videos just like any other girl does or any child does. But I've got to moderate that. I've got to pull her away from that. I've got to make sure that she's running around outside, touching some grass, and we're having conversations, that she's able to talk and express herself. This is critically important. Yeah, yeah, and it's so frustrating, man, because and actually, I told him that she tried to get back to me. I'm like, this is completely, this is crazy. This is crazy. So, I tell my story in hopes that a lot of these brothers would listen to some of the illustrations that were telling. And I would say that the most important decision you can make in your entire lives is like, and many other brothers say this, the most important decision you make is the woman that you have to, I don't know, 5 years. And hindsight being 2020, man, I would have loved it. Give me a nice sweet factory all the time, man. And do it. Versus having a 10 that is absolutely off the rails. Um, I was lucky enough to, and I was God given college that I learned how to monetize my first job. So that's how I ended up. Had I not been a brother who was in that six-figure bracket, I can see how not having money, going through all this stress that I was just it easily, it wasn't a recipe for disaster, and I'm telling you everything to you all right now. But I know a lot of brothers see me on as a moderator, brothers tell me that others see me on a lot of other brothers' channels, but don't get it twisted. I'm here
same grit, or a lot of them may think that they're in this world alone, going through things alone. So, with no support network. Exactly, exactly. Because that's what I felt like. Nobody to turn to. You can't call your friends. They're not going through that. They have good relationship with their kids, right? With their children. So if you really feel like you're on an island.
And that is so very important to uh, point out, right? So often, these conversations are being had, and the folks that are providing that advice oftentimes have good relationships with their kids. And so they're telling you, well, you just need to do this, or you just need to do that. It may be that that person's in a two-parent household, and they're giving advice to the non-custodial parent. They're telling, well, you just need to pull yourself up from the bootstraps and do better, and it doesn't matter how much abuse that you take, you just got to keep doing that because you're the father, and that's what you got to do. And unfortunately, as that brother was talking about, he was ready to kill himself. He had a plan. He was ready to go, and just so happened to be in a YouTube space to come across it and find out that he wasn't alone. There's an interview that I did with KMH, and I think she was sharing that uh, there's like 450 employees at the company. There are no black males. So when we are in a society that tells men you just need to be a man and that you're bad and patriarch, and when you go and you finally maybe go and seek help because you know what? Fine, man. I'll go see a counselor. I'll get over the stigma. And I'll actually go and talk to a professional. And many of us have been in that situation too, even when we were married, right? We go to marriage counseling, and oftentimes they take the side of the wife. I've heard countless conversations. I was just in a situation where I'm listening to black Christian men talk to other young adults, single men and kids, you know, happy wife, happy life. Sacrifice your own happiness because if she's happy, then you'll be all right. There's all kinds of things. And so you're constantly sacrificing. And again, your friends that are around you, maybe in a two-parent household, maybe in a good co-parenting situation. And so where do these men turn? Happy Valentine's Day, Happy Father's Day. I see you. You are seen. And you're not alone. I hope that you can be empathetic. Put yourself in this situation. It's a day, one day to acknowledge. And for those that have been hurt with their things like scripture with their people, how are we going to get that hope this time if we don't help to heal those that are hurting? Men aren't going to all of a sudden just change just because, right? They're going to need support. And that's for those that aren't already making the heavy lift and doing everything they can in spite of all the adversity and obstacles that the obstacles. So if you're feeling like, well, he's not there, he's not a part of his kid's life, he's not doing what he should be doing, how can that change? How can he be supported to be the father that he wants to be and needs to be? This is what Layla truly whispered doing. Fast and Furious, right? So this is, she prints this out and then she traces it so that she can improve her penmanship. Like this is where it's from. This is something like the people, it's like how you put it, the story. So what can we do? And where do they go to get that love and support? Because they sure need it. They absolutely need it. There's so many support groups, resources for women, but it's just not true for men. So very unforgiving. But I'm solution oriented. And so here's the black uh, male political agenda. Again, that's been scrolling at the bottom the entire time. So if you want access to this document, just go to tsonjohnson.com/Bravo Mike, Bravo Mike Paul Apple, and that'll get you there. Okay? And this isn't one gentleman. This is over Dr. T.S. Johnson and 10,000 plus other members of the Brotherhood of the Arctic Report. And some of the things that, again, can be done to make these changes. Family court report. Family court's treatment of black men has unfairly and drastically diminished black men and boys' quality of life by privileging women as primary caregivers. If you have met single fathers, they are pretty phenomenal fathers. Just absolute. If you don't feel open, that y'all know and have seen in some of these cases, they're tremendous fathers. Child custody. This includes automatic 50-50 child custody as long as the father can prove what mothers are required to as far as being able to provide a stable and safe living environment. Once determined pre-existing income based on alimony, child support judgments levied against black men should be reassessed, especially in a situation where you're married. Right? I don't even think I need to qualify that. I think it really doesn't matter. But a married couple gets a divorce, yeah, it's just part of 50-50. Paternity tests are mandatory paternity testing at birth. Prior to signing the birth certificate, newborn children should be given a DNA test to ensure the parentage of the father, thus avoiding men being unjustly responsible for supporting children under those pretenses. Maury Povich, there's a ton of shows that we can point to where you are not the father, and he ain't the father, and that dude ain't the father, and neither is that dude. It's like, okay. Nope. Yeah, make it mandatory. Make it mandatory. There was one stat that I saw that third and like really high. And unfortunately, whether that man is tricked or doesn't know, or she honestly doesn't know, however it happens that he's on that birth certificate and he's not the father, when it comes out years later, he he's not involved. He is now responsible in the court's eyes, and now he's stuck. And when he does have a family of his own, he can't provide his family and himself with all the resources that he's working so hard for, because he's now responsible for this child that he may have been tricked into or didn't know. And again, what we say is, well, he should have known better. Well, that child needs to be taken care of. Someone got to take care of that child. So we want things to change. These are the things that we have. Reinstituting at-fault divorce standards. In alignment with the gynocentric family policies, no-fault divorce negatively impacted Black men by authorizing a massive shift in marital culture that dramatically underdeveloped them economically. We can talk about marriage. I'm all folks getting married and households, and it's fantastic. And the statistics show that children thrive better in a two-parent household. However, that is a bad deal for men. You sign on. We're in a time now where a lot of equality and equity. Women are graduating more than men are. And so when there's a divorce, she's crippled oftentimes. And if there's a child involved, he's damn sure crippled. And then he's the now custodial parent. And unfortunately, in a lot of situations, the woman is able to use the child in order to secure resources. They're not paying $2,000 in rent to be in that 3 and 4 bedroom house. They're receiving $500, $600, $700 in food stamps. They don't have to go to work. They have medical paid for. They have child care paid for. They can go to college and have all these supports in place and not figure out how to work 8 hours, go to school, raise kids, do all these things. Financial abortion. As we understand the law, it is a woman's right to choose whether or not she will carry a baby to term. We're talking about that right now, right? She can put the baby up for adoption or abort the child. Within the first 6 months after being informed about a pregnancy, men should have the right to financially disassociate themselves from the pregnancy. See, to me, this is what equity truly looks like. Her body is her choice, but he should have choices also. So he doesn't get to decide whether or not she puts the baby up for adoption, keeps the child, or aborts the child. He should then also have the choice to either be in a part of the child's life or to financially abort and not be financially responsible because she's decided that she wants to have the child, but she doesn't want the relationship. This seems like common sense, but the way that we look at it in society is it's almost like we can't even see it. Right? Child support value system, instituting a system where goods, services, and time spent with the child is calculated and valued at a dollar amount, any remaining deficit to be paid in cash. Right to lifestyle. Post-divorce, men should be entitled to the life they have been accustomed to in marriage. We hear this a lot with women, right? Especially when you see, movie stars and athletes like that, right? She didn't have these things oftentimes when she met him and got with him, but now that it's over, you'll see she needs, $200,000 a month to maintain that living space. And it doesn't matter typically how the divorce came about. Thus, any judgment of consent determination made must ensure that the person can enjoy the same privileges and lifestyle enjoyed before or during the marriage, whichever cost he wants to maintain. Require the formal child support management record. Ensure that the child support payments are earmarked specifically for approved child-related expenses only. Payments used on non-child related expenses must be accounted for by the custodial parent. So we see this all the time too. So you see on the one hand, a mother saying, "Oh my goodness, I need, the support and I got to raise this child. I'm doing this on my own." And He has all these resources that the state is aware of and that the state isn't aware of. He might have a new man that's helping to, you know, do this, that, and the other. He's working under the table and he's killing himself to put out what little he can, and he's not surviving. Nails did, hair did, everything did. And you're like, okay, prohibiting jailing for failure to pay child support. Such incarceration frequently punishes men for being poor more than anything else. This in turn increases black male unemployment and further hurts families' economic stability. There's a website here, ncsi.org, Research Human Services, Child Support, and Incarceration. So we see this a lot too. Black men are working, they're trying to do what they can. They're not paying on time or the full amount. They're trying to work under the table because they can't survive while they're working under the table. And so the court says, oh, we're going to suspend your license. Well, I need my license to get to work. And now we're going to jail you because you didn't pay your time. So make that make sense. And for all you young people out there, when you find that hard to fathom, let's look at it this way. When a rich person can get a 1% loan to buy a car or a phone, and you're paying 6 or 7%, and then you've got PMI on top of that, how does that make sense? If the rich can pay the higher percentage rate, but the poor people can barely pay if they got the 1%, or maybe they could actually pay if it was only 1%. Why do the poor have to pay more and the rich get a cheaper interest? Let me see if I can put it in a term that makes sense to you. Income floor for child support. There should be a set minimum income for anyone on child support. And if someone is chronically under this floor in terms of income, then state governments provide opportunities for them to intern at an apprenticeship or in a trade. Only if they greatly refuse to work in an apprenticeship should they be incarcerated. Right, again, trying to treat the virus and not the symptoms. Okay, so this is what's going on. How can we get you the vocational skills, the education to be able to take care of yourself and your child that's not in the home with you, instead of telling you to left check? And again, there's not a lot of support that's in place. So even when you look at the fact that you're now going to a parent and you have your child on weekends, well, you're already working as much as you can during the week. When are they going to school and getting ahead and not falling short of the child support and alimony assistance program, where it can be proven that a man's child support and alimony judgment requirements are causing a practical impact on his standard of living. The state government and municipality are paying the cost in whole or in part, but not less of 66% of the total cost of child support and alimony payments. Tax filing options. At income tax time, many women sell their children's social security numbers to friends, family members, etc., either when the mother is not working or has maxed out her two-child benefit to receive income credit. And we see this all the time, right? That's the game. I can't claim these kids, or let you claim these kids. You get the money and you break me off a couple thousand. Whenever a third party submits tax returns claiming care of another person's child, any child support order to the mother or stated child should be rendered void or denial of the third party's claim on the validity of the dependent. This should fall under saving tax dollars. The natural question should be, why is the mother being paid for a child under the care of a third party? Welfare benefits and incentives for women fuel the single mother phenomenon. So to eliminate welfare contingencies or to incentivize contingencies for fathers, stop subsidizing single mothers. Any child support paid should be considered earned income due to it being taxed. Women are allowed to claim child support as an extra earned income that improves their credit and ability to finance vehicles and other products and services. Men who pay child support are not allowed to claim payments made when filing taxes, even when the amount can be a third or even 50% of their earned income. We advocate policies we advocate policy that exempts child support payments from the applicant's gross income when they apply for public housing and or housing assistance. The payment is counted as income for the custodial parent and counted in gross income for the non-custodial parent. Their gross income dictates their acceptance into the program and their rent amount. Some men may not qualify due to their gross income being over the limit, but he may not actually bring that amount home due to child support payments. Right? That's exactly what I was saying. So once you factor in the child support payments, he can't pay. His rent may be exceptionally higher since HUD states that 30% of gross income should go to rent. This leads to a plethora of issues for many brothers in the community, such as black male homelessness, joblessness, and propagating of children born out of wedlock. There should be targeted homelessness programs, especially post-incarceration. Black men should be prioritized for housing as they are most often turned away despite having housing vouchers. Consequently, as Black America constituted half of America's homeless pre-COVID, please read that again. Consequently, as Black America constituted half of America's homeless pre-COVID, where 13% of the population were 50% of the homeless population, and remain disproportionately homeless. The majority of homeless across race tend to be male. Thus, makes black males the most susceptible group to homelessness, and many are non-custodial fathers. They can't afford to live anywhere. No one can, but they have child support on top of having to live. Targeted unemployment programs. As black males experience unemployment at rates over 40 and 50% in over 34 major cities prior to COVID. They need advocacy and policy that prioritizes their employment on both racial and gender grounds. So again, this year, I didn't want to come out and say, hey, happy Father's Day to all you fathers. Happy Father's Day. You're not alone. There are crisis hotlines that you can call. We know, unfortunately, uh, it can be dangerous to call the police and say that you're in mental distress, or have someone call on your behalf and say that you're in mental distress, because we have numerous examples, unfortunately, of police assaulting folks that are in mental distress and just need some help. that a lot. Unfortunately, we see it too much. It can be tremendously dangerous to do that. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the ticker there for you. 888-910-0416 and go to imhurting.org. Get online emotional support during times of crisis. Everyone is welcome to talk about what's causing them to feel pain. Crisis counselors will listen to you without judgment and help you feel cared about and safe. You're not alone. You're not the only man or parent, father, who feels the way that you do. Please don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Reach out. It can get better. If you send something in the chat, put my email up here also. If you need or want to talk, you want to be directed to help offline, I'm here for that. Conduit podcast show at gmail.com. And so you can reach out. Go ahead and put that up there on the screen for you. Please send an email if you don't call the number or go to imhealing.org. I know that it's hard out here for you. I know that you feel like no one's holding you, no one's checking for you, that no one gives a damn about you. That even people in your family or your friends are just telling you just to suck it up, rub some dirt on it, suck it up, buttercup, whatever they're saying to you. You're being so soft, you're being simple, you're being weak, be a man, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Understand if there's anything that is going to constitute as toxic, that would be it. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, in whatever capacity. And understand that being a father doesn't mean that you have to take abuse. And I know that it is tremendously difficult to listen to that when everything and everyone in society is telling you the opposite, that you're a dirtbag, that you're lower than life, that your suffrage isn't enough, that you need to do more, and you're trying to hang on. And even when you express that, there's no sympathy, there's no support, there's no understanding. There's just do better. I did it, you should be able to do it. But we all these, it's another year. You hear it. It means you made it another day. You made it another hour. And I'm thankful that you have. And I hope that you can extend grace facing every day. I hope that you can extend grace to yourself to seek support, to seek help. And it may not be in the ways that you have sought in the past. It may not be the traditional ways. It may not be the ways in which you want it. So often we find ourselves wanting love and affection from people that don't have the capacity or the desire to give it back to us. And that hurts. And it's okay. It's okay. It's hard to accept. Please reach out. I want to tell all the men, especially those that have been marginalized for so very long. And you know what? I believe wholeheartedly, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. Because the only thing we really can do is try to uplift and support each other, give words of encouragement, words of affirmation, tools, skills, knowledge, protect your needs. And that is your money, your energy, your attention, and your time. See, we're all lonely. We all want to be with someone in some type of capacity. And unfortunately, there are people that will prey on you, and they will suck up your attention. They'll suck up your time. You will exert energy in supporting them, working through issues that they have going on. You'll blow through money. You have to be careful. Please protect the needs. And that goes for the fathers and those that aren't fathers. Those that are too young to be fathers. Don't get caught up in it. There's too many stories out there, too many cautionary tales of woe. We know what it looks like out there. So we are tremendously caring individuals as men. So oftentimes, no matter what the relationship is, you will extend yourself and try to be helpful. And so you'll be that mechanic, you'll be the mover, you'll be the shoulder and cry on, and you'll provide all of this emotional labor that Dr. Pearson Johnson talks about. And there's no return. You know, there's a line, right? Men are told that we are supposed to sacrifice for our families, we're supposed to sacrifice for our community, supposed to sacrifice for kids that are not our own, because their fathers aren't there. And I absolutely disagree with that. If you shouldn't be pressured into feeling like you need to hold up an entire race of people, an entire community. And many of these folks are God-fearing Bible thumpers, which is interesting because in the Word it talks about it, give with the joyful heart. and that God can't use the blessing that is given, out of obligation. So don't feel coerced into doing this and that for the community, doing this and that for other people's children. If you have the capacity and you have the desire to do that. But understand that the first rule in, airplane emergency is secure your mask first. And this is a do as I say, not as I do type situation here. Because I don't secure my mask before I secure other people's masks, right? And my dad continues in that way. I shouldn't have been doing anything, let alone trying to walk in a march and do all the stuff that I did over the weekend. Just that simple. So I watched my dad do it. So when we're gone, I said, "Oh, so sad, oh, so bad. Next, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself." So when it talks about self-care and self-love, figure out what that is for you. I think it's great if you want to help people. I think it's fantastic if you can extend yourself and be a mentor, to live as an example, to be a beacon of light, hope for young boys and girls, especially our boys. Don't allow yourself to be used. Recognize when that's happening. Protect your meat, protect your money, your energy, your attention, and your time. All right, y'all. Now we'll see tonight at 8 o'clock. Obi-Wan, so 5, reaction. It'll be a lot of fun. Busy night, kind of debrief for Juneteenth. And that at the same time. I've been doing that every Monday for like the past 2 or 3 Mondays. So it's been crazy. But Layla did say I was a great multitasker. Shout out to my daughter Layla. She's awesome. All right, y'all. I'm on camera. This is the conduit.